Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. I'm the narrator of this video clip and all my other video clips on YouTube channel and my channel. Today's date is May the 6th, 2026. So I'm just going to go over first of all, the usual, just an introduction to get you in the mindset of where I'm coming from. This here is in reference to my court cases and keeping everyone up to date, because I know my case is definitely a public case, a public interest case, because it involves everybody's welfare and also their property. So basically, I'm just going to go do the usual, do an introduction, and then I'm going to just go straight to the evidence that I want to talk about today in my court case and update everybody. So basically, I'm dealing with my property. My property is my identity, my entity, anything that's tangible about myself. My court case is my personal property. So obviously I'm versing against the opposition who are using substitutes and they're glued to me. It's definitely 100% an illegal, I'm just trying to get my head around everything. Sorry, it's still early in the morning. It's an illegal pet project is how I like to use it. These people come out with animals or dogs, and they're actually basically letting out a message, or it's a signature of them letting them know they're in your space, letting you know you're the animal or the dog. Well, I'm not an animal or a dog, but it's taken years for me to realize what everyone has used me for. So we're dealing with internal corruption. As time have gone on, I've realized why the laws came about and what they actually mean. It is a trafficking in persons case because of the intimacy, and everyone is glued. They've used me like a product. Basically, it's according to the law, it's animate or inanimate. So that is what has happened to me historically. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's a miracle that I'm even alive today, to be totally honest, because of the intimacy, the personal intimacy, the several series of attempts to kill me in the moment by a suicidal pact or a criminal pact. And it's been going on, it's going back to 2010, and that's really easy to prove on documentation. But this is what it looks like for victims who are being animated or inanimate. You're glued by the opposing allies who are controlled by agents or sponsors or hosts. And the scary thing that I have found, it's a global game. So it's a pinned down situation, and home invasions taken place, and money laundering and of all kinds have taken place. AVL, meaning that they're deviating the energy to somebody else. So I'm the actual original. So it's a very bad case of an original, someone stealing all their good fruits, their hard work, their identity and everything about them. And the idea of those responsible, criminally responsible, their intention is to eliminate the original, like they never existed. So that is what I'm up against. So I've had a lot of time. I'm an introvert. I'm one of these people who love my space, who love being on her own. I've always been super independent. I've always made good decisions about myself and my well-being in the moment, depending on the situation. And I've had a lot of time to think about everything that I've gone through. But basically, me putting everything on my YouTube channel and using graphic designs to kind of let everyone know a visionary point of view of what it is I'm up against. It's definitely a government system, and it's the opposing allies, it's internal corruption. the misuse of devices. They studied me while I was working for my employer, studying my personality, made links with people in my private life, and then it's been really easy for them to pin me down while they secretly steal everything, like tax invasions. There's definitely home invasion, but they're fault finding me. They're secretly used me like a product, but they're fault finding me and using the substitute to exalt or to defame or like some kind of upgrade. At the same time, they're defaming me secretly by using ads, coded words, and I've had to denounce all that when I realized that they were doing that they were actually talking about me as a form of coding, and I've had to denounce it because my environment was hostile. But the coding also, it allows them to let their people know who to sabotage, to help, and my whole area of my life has been contaminated by hostile extremists or cults. I try to get my head around it, and I just like, what was the start of this with all this going on? And all I can say is other religions and other culture have used me to promote themselves or try to take me down, like spiritually take me out. It's definitely a criminal case. Okay, it's definitely doesn't even belong in civil for as long as it has gone through the civil since 4th of July 2006. But now looking back, it's if like for me to actually prosecute in the criminal jurisdiction, it's very easy for me to actually build and prosecute those involved. But I'm dealing with body corporate breaches, and there are definitely individuals involved. And they don't stop until, like, their whole idea is to take me down spiritually or block everything. So tax invasion is involved. So everybody, as a New Zealand citizen or a civilian, we all have rights to different, when it comes, like, for example, if you're on a benefit, everyone is entitled to tax entitlements, whatever that may be, according to the legislation. So yes, people have used me for things like that. They've deprived me of my rights to some things, causing me not to be able to advance like any normal civilian. But definitely Unison Dance Crew falls in that bracket, where what I'm going through with all my court cases happened when I was doing Unison Dance Crew, because I tried to shut that the corporate, because I legalized it myself. No one paid me to do it. It was my idea to legalize the hip hop group, and I turned it into a non-profit organization, and I also knew it was worth a lot of public funding money. So what I went through with that court case and what I'm going through now is exactly the same scenario or same path or patterns have occurred, because someone is secretly trying to steal my court cases linking to the government, and now I'm able to prove that legally. Me going public with my court cases, I know it's working. I feel safer, even though there are days that has been very traumatizing and dangerous. But that's how I've been forced to live since since the privacy breaches. Okay, so I'll have to say my persecution started a very long time ago. It's personal, it's that intimate, and I believe I was being attacked because of my Christian belief, obviously. I reckon a lot of other cultures and extremists, religious people have personally invaded my private life and personally have all participated in taking me down spiritually. eliminating me, gluing themselves to me, using substitutes in my space. But so basically the Bible talks about shadow people. These people call themselves the shadow people. They're doing everything secret. Secret societies doing everything secret, but it is a conspiracy. So basically, I've been through a lot in this journey, and there's times I admit I have not been perfect. I've failed. I'm very much in the flesh like everybody else when I get mad, or I have an old nature like everyone else. But that's my old nature when I fail, and but I believe that when we walk in the light, like walk in truth, that's what the actual Bible means. When they walking in the light is actually walking in your truth, and confessing to God, saying sorry to God when you've done something wrong. That's what you call walking in the light and putting things right before God. And so that is what walking in the light is like. Don't hide darkness, because darkness, obviously the devil operates in the dark. So I've been oppressed, and oppression is the word, where I've been left behind case and buried in my truth. So this is what it feels like, oppression. When you feel trapped, isolated, you feel like you've done everything right, but you can't go forward. These times are very difficult times for any human being. Everyone will come across it, but it's just recognizing the difference. Like, okay, how did I get here? What can I do to make things a bit better? But I've been so oppressed by different people taking turns, taking me down spiritually. I have to say I'm only human, but I have gotten into that mindset where I just know myself. I just know my own boundary and my limits, and I've had to kind of reach out and get counselling. I'm doing counselling at the moment. It's helping me. And I recommend that for anyone, to get counselling or talk to somebody. It does help. It just gives you more option, and it's like a release to be able to talk about what you're going through. I have found that going over and over talking about things in the past I don't want to actually address, and I have felt like in my heart that God wants me to deal with some of these dark issues that I've gone through that I never told anyone. So my intention is to actually deal with all that legally. So at this moment, I am doing counselling. I'm doing everything possible to go forward. There is absolutely nothing wrong with me. I'm just trapped and just going through real difficult financial hardship. I wanted to make it clear that I'm not where I am because of my own doing. Basically, I can prove to the court legally that I've been pinned down and glued to the opposing ally, and they've secretly micromanaged me downwards, so I can't advance. I mean, there's no reason for me to find a job, but I didn't realize until afterwards that they had actually coded me, letting everyone know globally to block or to avoid. I mean, defamation was taking place, but they coded me, and this explains the different people in my space. They're in my space on behalf of somebody else, carrying out somebody else's plans, carrying out somebody else's motives and intention, or whether just to be a spy or whatever. But that is what you call carry out. It's a criminal case. Okay, guys, and I found they use different people every time. They're using their occupation. They know who I am, so the environment is not natural. So I'm talking about natural justice here. That's gone, and that's what I'm up against with the court system. They already know who I am. Everything is premeditated. unfortunately, the real truth reality is, you know, some people do see people like myself as they look down on other people because of their background or nationality or anything that they don't like about them, or they see people like myself as a peasant or a slave. We know that many rich people use their money, or they pay people to do things. They use their money to do the talk for them. So that is what you're up against. I'm representing myself, and I've been the opposing allies, or I believe the judgments are gone against me because I don't have a law degree. So bias and prejudice decisions have taken place, and that everyone is trading in influence. So basically, guys, I didn't even know what Geneva Conventions is until I can actually say I'm a witness to that, because I'm a victim to everything that I'm going through. It's the willful killing of individuals. Inhumane treatment takes place. Okay, so Geneva Convention also involves unlawful confinement and extensive destruction of property. I just had to do a bit of research, but that is what I'm going through personally. It means I'm being globally used by other people. That is a very serious criminal case. What I've gone through is inhumane, and it's a miracle that I'm even exposing what I'm going through personally. So basically, I'm dealing with internal corruption. We're dealing with treason, home invasion, fraud, aggravated assault and battery, the abuse that I've gone through with the relationship scams, embezzlement. Basically, you name it, my case falls in that category of very serious violent offences. Yes, rape has taken place. I have yet to still lay those complaints with the New Zealand police to get them investigated, because they can still be investigated, and those guys can still be made accountable. So I'm prepared. I feel that I might as well just deal with all these things legally, because they are true. Also, because of the historical cybercrime that I've been subject to while I was working for my employer through the privacy breaches. They have used, I don't know who's behind what I'm going through, but they've literally sometimes will make their threats. It's actually emotional blackmail. They've dug my past up, and then they put the people who have actually committed rape on me in my space in a form just to mock me or to trigger me or as a way of an abuse, basically. But that's how I know that they're behind. It's a criminal alliance, and because it's linked to the government, I mean, everyone looks out for their own, and those men's family and friends would all be doing whatever they can to make sure that they don't be made accountable legally for the serious violent offences they've committed on me. And rape is 20 years imprisonment, by the way. So I'm dealing with after the fact, a serious accessory after the fact. It's a criminal case. There's a law in regards to that. So if anyone can be made accountable according to the law, even just obstructing justice. Like, I've had a lot of deputy registrars and court registrar at the courts when I was doing my cases lying to me, or basically obstructing justice, just won't allow my court case to go through the legal system. They were blocking it. That's called actually sabotage. So they can be charged for sabotaging and impeding rescue or obstructing justice. So that's the acts people have done in my court case, and I'm still up against that. Okay, so these people are actually glued to me. Trafficking in persons is 20 years imprisonment. So they're trying to make out I'm the crazy one. I'm the one who's mentally unstable or mentally sick or ill. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just going through the normal reactions that is triggered by the abuse that I'm subject to or locked out, and just trying to go forward the normal way, only to be sabotaged and not living in an environment that is natural. Like, I know when everything's being micromanaged and people within my personal space, when I go out, it's not a natural environment, because they know who I am and they're walking around like zombies, acting indirectly. Yeah. Okay, it's a public interest case because my case has gone through over 19 judges, and it's also been going for 10 years this year. So there's a lot of because of criminal negligence. I'm still in a very serious situation at this point in time. Because of criminal negligence, it's almost like everyone's just waiting for me to die or have a heart attack or something to happen, but they're prolonging everything. Everything's micromanaged, everything's prolonged, obviously because they don't, it's all about money. They don't want to settle or anything like that. And that's very clear. So many incidents of there's sufficient evidence to press criminal charges, even just for wounding with intent, the emotional torture and everything they've put me through emotionally, all that everyone responsible behind the prolonging of everything can be charged with wounding and intent because of emotional torment and just prolonging everything, basically. But it all comes from criminal negligence. So basically, when the justice system doesn't work, or when those in public office refuse to comply to the laws to enforce their power of authority to help somebody or to investigate or anything like that, they're actually impeding rescue. So even when I was doing my court cases and I'd go to the courts and the councils, and the people over the counter either act dumb or they don't know, or they act like they don't know anything. It's all part of impeding rescue. It's just a criminal tactic by the body corporates to stop me from going forward. And saying that, they're not only doing that over the counter, but they're also doing that publicly, glued to them. Okay, so if there's sufficient evidence, so if there's sufficient evidence to prove that, they can be charged 10 years imprisonment for impeding rescue. Okay, so if there's sufficient evidence to that, it's 10 years imprisonment for impeding rescue for an individual and even a body corporate. Well, it's a finable charge, basically, for body corporates. Today I decided to go over my interlocutory application to do with independent police code of conduct. The judge that did this case is Associate Judge Gillette. Okay, so this here is my application for a summary judgment. Unfortunately, I'm very disappointed with what counsels in that, like those in authority taking advantage of a situation and not being totally honest. I'm a very efficient person. If I say I did this, I did do it. But I'm dealing with in between and in the middle with the technologies. The scary thing I've found in between, different people have been micromanaging me, and I still believe that they've had access, doing proxy hacking into my laptop or finding ways of getting their foot in the door to get access to anything that I'm doing, whether coming in my home. If they've done that to me historically, it's exploitation. But this here is the plaintiff's interlocutory application on notice to enter a summary judgment of liability. I did serve the Independent Police Code of Conduct, and every memo that Associate Judge Lester wrote, I did comply, and I'm a very efficient person. I tell them exactly in the moment what I'm going through. And then I've submitted a bundle of exhibit to go with it. I am old school. The law hasn't actually changed. Every time I've tried to get them to sign my interlocutory applications, the courts refused to sign them. They said they don't sign them anymore. And like for me, I'm like, why aren't you signing them? But now that I've gone through what I've gone through, it's because interlocutory applications allows the judges to actually enforce an order immediately because they've been sworn. Okay, but they're like saying they don't swear interlocutory applications, but they only swear affidavits. I know I've said that in other video clips. I've gone over that issue, but I'm going to show you my interlocutory application. The judge has actually set a date. They know that my case has gone public. I've had no choice but to show this to you guys because I need the public intervention. As you can see here, I've asked the judge to cancel out counsel statement of defense. Now, his statement of defense on the 10th of July, he admitted some of the facts. Okay, so the independent police conduct admit the fact that they've read the documents, that they received my complaints and everything. I've also asked here in this interlocutory application, indicating that my situation is a very serious situation. Okay, so I'll just let you guys read it. I'll just scroll it. And this is just for those that are watching over me, so you can all see I'm doing everything right. I'm dealing with perjury here. Okay. So basically I'm asking that I did serve them, like some of the memos that that I've been received from the Crown. I mean, this is the Crown. This is our government, okay? And the reason why they're what they write on their statement has to be true. You can't. You have to be 100% accurate, just like what you write on your judgments. So this is a real life court case, guys. The judge knows that my case has gone live because I've had to. I'm also dealing with, is she pregnant or is she not pregnant? Well, you're either pregnant or you're not. I know that blood tests, well, you're either pregnant or you're not. So when I had the blood tests, I knew I was. I've had 2 scans. I've actually seen a baby's body. I know what a baby's body looks like in the tummy. But I've had medical practitioners and even the hospitals trying to convince me of a lie. And I've actually asked them to give me a proper scan, but they won't. If I wasn't pregnant, why not just give me a proper scan to say, no, you're not pregnant, and just prove it to me. But all this confusion has made my family members all confused. Some of them have turned against me because it's the government that I am opposing, and doing what I'm doing is very serious and very dangerous, but I'm trying to save my life. But there is sufficient evidence and documentation to prosecute everyone concerned legally if I don't make it. So yes, Church of Christ was definitely linked into there, because unfortunately it's cybercrime. All right. And it is relationship scam. Okay, then I had the car accident that they didn't investigate. I'll just go. So this is the 2010 car accident, and I was seen by a specialist, and I got his finding was I had an MRI scan, and his finding was actually that I had a cervical spinal injury, and I'm still suffering with that. The point of the matter is, I got an injury from a car accident that the police failed to investigate and charge the offender. They actually let the offender go. But then here on this report, you can tell that little things like this is the cybercrime syndicate behind what I'm going through. Is they like to tag people's personal property, like it's this is coding. This is what I call coding, and their illegal scientific experiment on human beings. Obviously, I'm a product. That's what they've done. And see here, I don't know if they've used echo, like I said, I've denounced her in my court cases, but the other religions have used her name. It's all in relation to this ecosystem where they keep me isolated. Then the different members of the public, because of their coding by the government, they're all taking turns in my space to keep me isolated. Okay, so that's what I'm up against. But in saying that, this here is evidence by a specialist, Mr. Greg Finch. Okay, I exhibited this, and this is sufficient evidence that I did have an injury. And I've suffered greatly because of this injury too. Even though I have updated my medical records, the hospital said I still have compression. Internally, I get some symptoms from it. And I have had a talk with Angus Don, and I had an MRI scan and an X-ray. So I've had X-rays and an MRI scan. So all the doctors have to do, all the judges have to do, is just go look at those MRI scan and X-ray scan to see if I'm pregnant. That's all they have to do. So I'll just go back here. So that's why I was asking to enter a summary judgment, because that's a miscarriage of justice. They've made somebody suffer. They did nothing about it, and you can just tell by my personal property that I've been micromanaged by different people, held hostage while they're secretly taking me down financially. So this case is what you would call a miscarriage of justice. So I'll let you guys just read it. So what I'm dealing with is I'm fighting against about my own personal property. I'm talking about my court cases, my identity as myself, and everything else that is mine, that belongs to me or identifies me as me. Using substitute, they're the ones that are actually secretly stealing everything. So if you're following me on Facebook, I put video clips sometimes to denounce something that I know that is linked to me. That's a privacy breach. It is working. Like the global inciting is diminishing. It shouldn't even be happening, but it is diminishing. Like people are doing things they don't even realize are actually breaking really serious laws. But if your acts is linked to a conspiracy or is purposed to cause somebody else harm, that is what you call a conspiracy. It's an infringement. So this here interlocutory application is against the Independent Police Code of Conduct. So you can all read it. It's the judges in the Court of Appeal has set a hearing date for me to finish all our submissions, to make a decision. They're going to make a decision. My concern is how things are dragged out, especially with what I'm going through, is so serious. So I'm doing this for the sake, I'm doing this for the sake of myself and also to help everybody else. Okay, so my case stays active. I just noticed something. I thought I'd go over that. This here, I'm self-representing myself, okay? So what I'm saying is legally by law, we are allowed to represent ourselves. There's nothing, I'm not doing anything illegal. And in saying that, the Crown has nothing on me that I have to worry about that I could go to prison for. Me even doing what I'm doing right now as a whistleblower, exposing everything. Basically, no one can actually sue me because of what everyone has done to me. And in my case, is definitely a whistleblower case, and I am the victim of crimes. So basically, I'm self-representing myself. I wanted to go back to 2016 when I was doing the Ministry of Health. There was a memo. This is like this is like felony, all right? There's been a lot of unlawful judgments by the other judges, and I'm saying they're all unlawful because I put it in appeal against Judge Chalice's judgment and Judge Corden. There's actually an appeal. Unfortunate reality is the judges didn't even look at the appeal, but the appeal itself, it describes my environment. The facts describes everything that I've gone through. But in the judiciary review, under, like, some of these laws are now gone, okay, but I did use them going back to the court hearing to do with the Ministry of Health. They've deleted, like, that's my other concern I have found, is they've deleted everything. And we're dealing with civil jurisdiction judges. From personal experience, civil jurisdiction judges do not have the same warrant as a criminal judge. So my statement of claim has been actually a criminal case, and it's not a civil case, okay? Because it's somebody's liberty. I'm a whistleblower, and I'm saying people have used me for a pecuniary advantage while I was working for my employer. So it's not a civil case. So civil judges do not have the same warrant or the same mindset as a criminal judge or a criminal barrister. But going back to 2000 and because this here is, sorry, to 2016 when I represented myself. This law is no longer there, but because I used it, it keeps my case alive. Like, even if I die, a criminal barrister can go through every single thing that I've been through and put the evidence together and prosecute those concerned. But this here, the laws they've changed the laws. My concern is also they've changed the laws, and it's that they're taking away people's right from actually being able to stand up for themselves to protect their own businesses or protect their property. Okay, anything that belongs to you is your property. So that's what I'm up against. But this law here, it was in the District Court Rules Act 1947, Rule 57. A party to any proceedings may appear and act personally. Okay, this here is what gave me the authority and the power to protect my own property, and that was in the hearing going back to the Ministry of Health, 4th of July 2000. and 16. But this here, I've written it down in the District Court Rules Act 1947, Rule 57. So if my court cases go on for another 10 years, this law here keeps all my court cases active and everything about me active. And it's just a matter of a criminal barrister going backwards and digging up my cases, like everything I write in writing. It's all about integrity, okay? I know that people can get into trouble if you mislead the courts or put in fraudulent statements or anything like that. Okay, so, and if that was the case, I'd be in prison by now. So this law here, it's not there anymore. But I've had this on my heart to go over what gives me the power to personally represent myself. I don't have a law degree. I'm a paralegal, so I do everything. Yes, I'm very competent. I'm just using all my skills that I learned to try and save myself. And so I've been consistent. And the Crown at this point of time got all this information and memorandum. It was confirmed in the court, but I've been having people in between my court cases internally sabotaging my cases to help the Crown. That's not good. Okay. So I just felt in my heart to let everyone know, and I know that other judges will see what I see, but this law here, it keeps like everything about my court cases, because I'm only one person. I'm not, what they've done is they've split all the cases up, which means it's more money to whoever represents the defendant. And I am actually the victim of crimes, trying to get myself out of this situation that I didn't put myself in. Other people have dug up my past and glued themselves to me and then animate me, like use me to promote their culture or promote other people, or use me for movie ideas or for relationship scams. So I'll let you guys finish here finish what this whole thing. So I've actually sued Independent Police Conduct, $10 million, and New Zealand Police, according to the laws. So you guys I'm just doing this so you can all read my work. So the courts refused to sign my interlocutory application because they said they don't sign interlocutory applications. But I've done my research on the laws, and that the law clearly says that they need to be investigated. They still need to be sworn. Because when things get sworn, you're basically saying, yes, I swear, that what I'm putting on these facts is true. But my own personal belief, I believe the Crown is setting me up to fail. For the court registrar refusing to sign my interlocutory application for obvious reasons. Their intention is to steal. My identity, I'm saying my identity got stolen while I was working. And then people are publicly in my space, gluing themselves to me. I ring the police and they won't do anything because they all know. So everyone's sort of taken turns using me when I'm by myself. Also, I wanted to show you guys my experience. This here, I was a statutory appointed court deputy registrar when I was working for the Department of Courts. Okay, that's where my experience came from. I have found the opposition, because they've studied me for so long, they've all conspired secretly to take me down spiritually and to demote me. Okay, but this here is my deputy registrar powers authority that I went through. You have to go through a personal ceremony with your employer. But at that time, I got my authorities. My name was Mina Crichton, and then I changed my name to my maiden name. Colleen Binns over here, she was the criminal jury trials manager. Okay. And the start date when I worked for the Department of Courts is the 1st of August. Let's go here. See, all these are an exhibit in the courts. Now, if the judges were efficient and got all my legal documents from the courts, they should be able to see all this. There it is. I'm known by 2 names. And I started on the 1st of August 2022. I was Mina Crichton, and then I divorced my ex in 2006. I officially lodged my divorce paper, and I've been single for that long. The other thing I have found with the public window is that other people, they don't like me because they think I'm an immigrant. So they've dug my past up and then secretly use it against me by doing things indirectly. Encoded me by words. Okay, so this here is... So this is for the Ministry of Justice, just going over my experience. The other thing I have found while I was working for the ministry, somebody internally was kept, I don't know, someone internally was like, see, sorry guys, I am a New Zealand, this is my certificate to say I'm a New Zealand citizen, because I am a New Zealand citizen. Excuse me. But some of the issues I have found is that when I was like with my personal property, people were misspelling my name as a way of coding historically, or that is what I found, because I'm basically being pinned down. So I'm dealing with internal corruption here. Okay, sorry guys, this video's gone too long, but it's had to happen. So just to update you all with my Court of Appeal case, the judge has set a date to make a decision, and there's 2 judges at the moment. But my concern with what I've gone through, this here's my security clearance. So there's no reason for me not to be blocked or not being able to go forward, but it's all part of defamation of whoever was behind what I was going through. All right, guys. All right, guys. Spiritually speaking, from a interpretation of my faith, which is Christian faith, just this verse here has been on my heart, and it says, "No one can serve two masters, for he will either hate the one or love the other, or else he will be loyal to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God or mammon." Obviously, Jesus was a man, obviously in the flesh, but spiritually speaking, he was the spiritual truth. So basically, this verse here, when Jesus actually said this verse, I believe what he was meaning was, you either love the truth or you hate the truth. Okay, we all know what happened to him. He was cybercrimed and everyone ganged up on him. And that's exactly what happened. But in reality, the word clearly reveals that he was, spiritually speaking, he was a man after God's own heart, and he was the spiritual truth. So basically, that's what it means. So on a spiritual plane, I'm dealing. Obviously, this whole thing that I've gone through historically, it's taken a long time to reveal God's vision had for me to actually reveal on legally, and linking to the government and everything else. So basically, when investigators investigate, if, for example, if I do not make it, they will find that everything that I said is true. Now with the pregnancy, that this whole prolonging and them animating me and creating evidence in between, in the middle, it's all part of a cover up. Okay, so basically, those in public who are watching me, it's either you believe me or you believe the government. So but that's why I've had to go do what I'm doing, because I'm trying to save my life and trying to save my unborn child. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not saying I'm anything or anything better than anyone, because I know I'm not. But all I'm trying to do is go forward and stand against the opposing allies who are breaking the law. So that is what I'm up against spiritually. Okay, yes, the warfare is spiritually, but there comes a time when you can recognize, just by the facts and the situation, that a person is actually blocked and locked out. And that's exactly what's happened in my case. Okay, so basically, because they've all changed the legislation to actually where the criminal jurisdiction is not seem to be as important, but everything's on civil. But now I understand why we do have the criminal jurisdiction, and departments of court was more aligned with the criminal laws to protect people's individuality and protect people's property rights, basically. And this is the new age system that I'm experiencing myself. So what I'm going through, anyone can go through, basically without notice or consent. And you can just wake up one day and realize you've lost everything, if you are unaware of the signs. So what I've gone through has been so personal. It is, let's see, it is Geneva Conventions offences. They are the most serious of all, because it's a global international offences or privacy breaches, and it can happen to anybody. Okay. Yeah, so that's the update with my court case. The judge has set down a hearing date. My concern is the prolonging and how the schedulers are actually, because they're coding me, they already know who I am. I can feel that they're trying to keep me suppressed. They don't, it's all about money and, and property. So that's what I'm up against. So I'll keep you up to date with anything more to do with my court cases. a hearing date has been set for the judges to make a decision on both of the cases, and I'll update you guys with that. So I'm just going with it at the moment, and yeah, okay.